Welcome to SRG Insights, where we answer your questions about sales, sales management, and sales training. And today's question is...
Warren Miller, Director of Sales at OneView, asks, how many sales pipeline stages do you recommend in a CRM system? And does the maturity of the business come into play?
So that's an excellent question. Just how many stages should there be associated with a sales pipeline in a CRM system? And I've seen relatively few stages, and I've seen a lot of stages. And typically, I'd say the right number is probably somewhere between 4 and 7. But I wouldn't fixate on a number. I really think the number of stages has to do with the complexity of the overall sales process. And if in a longer, more complex process, you may have more stages, and in a relatively shorter sales cycle, a little bit more transactional, you may have less stages. I think the real key is having clear definitions so that the stages themselves aren't fuzzy, and then making sure there are clear criteria that are customer driven associated with each stage. And in fact, this is one of the key steps we've outlined in our book, The High Impact Sales Manager. There's a section on forecast accuracy and pipeline management. And step number 1 is to assign clear criteria, customer driven, to each stage. So I'll give you an example. Let's say one stage is needs discovery. That's a pretty common stage. You want to understand what the customer's needs are. And then the stage following that is solutions presentation. So based on the customer's needs, you're going to make a solutions presentation. So some exit criteria might be the customer has clearly acknowledged that there is a business problem. They understand the economic consequences associated with solving that business problem. They've identified a budget, and they're open to seeing a solutions presentation. So there gives you great clarity, and you know that opportunity is ready to advance from one stage, needs identification, to solutions presentation. The problem we often see, though, is that it's fuzzy and may even vary from sales rep to sales rep, meaning that it makes it very hard to produce a forecast when there aren't objective criteria. The other benefit of objective criteria is it gives you a sense for how much more work really remains to get the deal closed. So if you're not meeting the customer criteria, you know exactly what you need to do in order to advance to the very next stage. So as long as we've covered this, let's just kind of quickly dive into the other 2 key steps. So if step number 1 is to assign clear customer-driven exit criteria for each stage, the other is to assign a reasonable probability to each stage. And we've seen pipelines where sales reps assign their own probabilities, or managers meet with sales reps and then assign various probabilities. We actually recommend having a set probability associated with each stage that ties to the exit criteria and actual historical win rates from other deals that have been in kind of the same situation. And this way you get great consistency in terms of not only the exit criteria, but also the stage probabilities. And then the third factor is, or the third step, is to really track velocity. So we have this concept that we call a bloated pipeline, and that's when there are deals that seem to be stuck for too long in one stage. So if a deal isn't meeting the customer-driven exit criteria, let's say you have it's a complex deal, let's say you have 6 stages and a 6-month sales cycle, you might have like 60 days assigned to each stage. If a deal remained in a stage for more than 60 days, you may want to move it to an inactive pipeline and only move it back when it meets the objective criteria. The key there, though, is that you need to make sure you're managing both your active pipeline and reviewing the inactive pipeline so you get those opportunities re-engaged and active again. So hopefully that helps. Just to recap, no set number of stages, but make sure that the stage is kind of tied to the customer criteria or customer process. Step 1, assign clear exit criteria associated with each stage. Step 2, assign reasonable probabilities to each stage. 3, track velocity within each stage. And if a deal is dormant for over a period of time, however you define it, move it to the inactive. Hope this helps, and look forward to future episodes of SRG Insights.